how are you?
Fine.
Okay, tell us who you are and what you do for GiG.
So I'm David Bonnefous, I'm Commercial Director in Gaming Innovation Group. So I'm taking care of the client relationship, but also taking care of the account management team.
What are the differentiators needed to grow and share in the market?
In US, it's very important that we need to do big differentiation in front of big brands. What I mean here, it means that we know that in US we have really big brands already available in US, but here we need to play the game on the differentiation with Gaming Innovation Group. What I mean that I think that it remains a big piece of the cake in order to be taken by the operator, by the upcoming operator. So here, why it's important to use Gaming Innovation Group? Because in Gaming Innovation Group, in front of the competition, we are very different with a big, powerful product using the game of the differentiation. That's true that the regulations are moving forward very positively in US, but for the moment, I think the level of expectations of the user is more elevated than the level of the regulation. So what it means that in some country, in its states, in US, the player try to place bet on offshore because it's not regulated in the country. So it's the reason why I talk there is again a big pace of the cake to take in US, and at the same time you need to have a very powerful product in order to understand each state, understand each player of the state in order to give differentiation. Differentiation is really the big word.
Tell us about what's in store for 2024 for your company.
Well, as you know, we have launched some operation already in US, and the last one was in Maryland this summer, just before the NFL season. And we hope to launch a new operation in US in the new regulated country because it's very important for us. In fact, the respect of the regulation is mandatory for Gaming Innovation Group. When I say, as you can imagine, Gaming Innovation Group is 100% focused on regulated country. We come from Europe, where regulation is very must, and here we understand so what a regulator want to have in US, what an operator need to deliver in order to fit the regulation. So all this story we have already, I want to say, an history background in order to deliver a very compliant product, but also a very profitable product for all the existing and upcoming operator working with Gaming Innovation Group.
So what are the differentiators between your operations and others?
I don't want to make a very big commercial speech, but that's true that we have very powerful product. And I think what is the differentiation is that we are really here in order to help the client. And when I say to help the client, it's to teach some, I want to say, training in order to understand 100% of our product. Sometimes we have discovered, Europe included, that we have operator, we don't have the knowledge of maybe 30%, 40% of our product. So we are here to help, here to train the operator. And I think when operator know at least 80 or 90% of the product, of our feature of the platform or the feature of the sportbook, it can begin to do very great things, exciting things in order to deliver to the player. So when we talk about differentiation, that's true that you need to understand, it'll be like a Formula One, you know? Okay, you have a Formula One, but you need to have the driver. And in order to have the driver, you need to educate the driver. And so it's really, we are here in order to help the operator to do business.
So what's the most exciting thing for you personally about this company?
Well, is that true that in Gaming Innovation Group, first point, there is a very big DNA with a very big client relationship. It's very important. We are not here in order to sign contract and to say hello, so see you in 3 years. So it's not our kind of relationship that we have with the client. Personally, well, I am with the account management team, and I know that we have daily meeting, daily talk with clients in order to understand the strategy. In order to, we don't need. It's very important. We don't think like a B2B provider, but we need to be like a B2C operator in order to understand the strategy, in order to help them. When we introduce a product or new feature in Gaming Innovation Group, we are not here in order to sell. We are not here in order to help the client to improve his business.
So you're creating basically a safe space for everybody involved.
Yeah, so that's true that we can offer that like an option for sure, but we can offer that also like a basic one. Again, our wish is to deliver to the operator something very powerful in order to make them able to generate more revenue and to be more profitable. So it's, in fact, we can consider it like an option, but for me, it's more like a basic one. It's the start features. It's something that I love 100%, but it's something I think that when you use one of the GiG platform, you need to have 100% GiG data, GiG logic, because with that you can explore 100% of the possibility of the data and of the possibility of the platform in order to fit your good marketing.
What is your favorite thing about GiG?
My favorite feature is GiG logic. So it's a tool of marketing. So what is this feature? Just in order to explain you, we use all the data that we have, and we have a lot, in order to be able to create a kind of path to bonusing. What I mean is, for example, with data, you can say, I want to send a bonus to a guy living in Baltimore between 20 and 25 with a daughter called Sandra, for example. All the data that we can have, and after they can do a very big bonusing tools in order to fit and to understand their players. Again, when you have a players, I want to say, placing bets on casino, on the sports book in US, you need to understand him because it can be potentially to create bonus, baseball bonusing, and here with GiG Logic 100% to offer that. So for sure, GiG Logic for me, it's the best feature that we have in GiG, on my point of view.